Before we talk about the EP that you're about to drop, soon today.
Yes.
I know this interview's going up. Before we talk about that, just talk a little bit about when you dropped Vibe, because we had a little conversation.
Yes.
You said that you had a EP all ready to go and to give to people, and that never happened.
Yeah, Vibe was actually supposed to be one of those songs that you just kind of throw out there, you know, see what's bubbling. Do people like it? Do people not like it? And it was actually to my surprise that a lot of people liked Vibe, and it really caught on. People were like, wow, this is a new sound for you, or this is like really dope, like I bumped to this. And during the time that we dropped Vibe, I was like, okay, I have this other EP that I'm working on. We're just gonna record like the final recordings and then get it mixed and mastered, put it out. I had an entire EP lined up, ready to go. And you know, it's just really unfortunate that that EP won't see the light of day. Like, and not because it's not great music, I just feel like, you know, the timing wasn't there for me and to be working with those people. And so, you know, there's been a lot of times where I reached out to that producer and I was like, hey, you know, let's work on it, let's do this, let's do that. And just like other things were more important, other people were more important, other work was more important. Like the Leila Dey name just wasn't big enough for the efforts. And also, I don't know, I guess just on their behalf, I think they felt like, you know, we're making you who you are. And that to me was a little bit hurtful because,
of course,
like, I know. You made who?
Yeah.
Okay. Nonetheless, that experience was definitely one that I needed to have. And so it's funny because, to be honest, I had this EP lined up and then it didn't come out, and it really forced me to look at things and look at my circumstances and really figure out, like, what am I gonna do? I got a lot of criticism because people are like, hey, Vibe is here, it's great, what's next? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Your buzz is dying, like people are moving on to the next.
Right.
Like you should have dropped something. And I really wanted to. It's just that things did not work out, and so I had to yet again regroup, come back, start over. Like, you know, and I feel like the story of starting over, especially for me, is like one that I can tell 100,000 times. Like, I've started over. I've started over. I've started over. I've started over. Like, I've started over. And so I just felt like, you know, it was time for me to do things my way and how I want to. And now no one is really going to tell this story from their point of view. I'm going to tell the story from my point of view. And I'm so thankful that, like, I don't know, I was really granted the opportunity, and somewhere I was given the courage to be like, you know what, just start writing.
Right.
Like, just start writing yourself, you know? Don't think about the pressures of, like, you know, people are waiting for an EP or people are waiting for an album or whatever, or the next song. Just start writing. And that is how Black Bouquet really came about. Before now, I've never released a song that I have written completely all by myself.
Really?
And
sorry to cut you off, but is that because you were scared? You didn't think it would be good enough?
Yeah, partially. I'm a really big, like, I critique myself far worse than anybody will ever critique me. So before I even let anybody else hear it, like even roughly record it, I'm like, oh God, no, please. All right, you know what? Let's just try this again next time. So it's not, it's not easy, but like I said, I don't know where that kind of like that I think because I felt like my back was against the wall. After I put out Vibe, I felt like, you know, this is really disheartening that I can't put out this EP that I really like and I really enjoyed this music. And I don't want to feel like that. Not when things could be in my own control.
Right.
Like, I can control that. So what you need to do is put on your big girl boots and write some songs and tell your story. And for once in your life, be vulnerable. Yeah.
So with Black Bouquet, so you were being vulnerable.
Yeah.
You've written everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Black Bouquet touches on, I feel like, a good amount of subjects. So, like, you know, with Miles, it's like, you know, being in a relationship with somebody whom you will go that extra mile for, you know, you want to be close to that person. You're like, yeah, like, I'll go on tour with you, or I'll travel with you, you know. And sometimes when you look back on certain relationships, you're like, I was so stupid. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why would I be going on tour?
Yeah.
Like, why would I leave my yacht?
Yeah.
You know, but like love makes you do
crazy things.
And so, you know, you will travel, and that's kind of where the story starts on this EP. And it takes you on a journey of being in love, and not necessarily falling out of love, but feeling betrayed because somebody is out doing their own thing. And you really cared about that person, and they're out, like, you know, flexing, doing their own thing, and you're like, what? Like, you don't even understand what I would have done for you, you know? And that's another emotion that, you know, is really, it's really honest. And by the end of this EP, for me, the song Next Factor is like my most vulnerable song. And I feel like it speaks to me the most because it's like, when everything is said and done, especially if you're ever ending or leaving or kind of getting to that transitional place in a relationship, you're left with yourself. And you're sitting there, and the way every time that I think about this song, it's like I'm sitting in and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, you know, who am I? Who is this person? Sometimes you can feel like you've kind of lost yourself in a relationship. And so then when it's over, you're sitting there looking at yourself like, okay, well, like, who is this person? You know, you have to get back to that place, and you can acknowledge sometimes, or hopefully you can acknowledge where you went wrong in a relationship, and you can acknowledge where your partner went wrong in a relationship. And sometimes it just, you know, like, it just has to come to an end. But I feel like Black Bouquet is it's gonna take its own course. Like, things can evolve, you know? Because even if love is dead, it can still be very beautiful.
Absolutely.
A lot of things people don't know about me because I don't put it out there. And so they can either come up with their own ideas of who it is that I am and what kind of person I am or what I can do. Like, for instance, the critique is that, Leila she doesn't write her own songs, and she can't write her own songs. That has been a #1 critique of mine for years. And you wouldn't believe, like, it's from people whom I support, other artists in the city. It's from people who, you know, it's actually crazy because people whom I consider to be like family to me have also been, you know, ones to promote that
you can't
exactly that I can't write, or to, you know, confirm, oh yeah, no, she doesn't really write. And so, you know, for me, that I feel like that also played a role in my confidence toward writing, because it's like, she can't write, like, you know, that's not really up her alley. And so when people come into a situation, they already feel like they're going to be an asset to me, you know, and I never really have, it's almost like I never really have value because I'm just the singer. You know, she can't really write, so I'm going to help her write the song. And then I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to slap her with some papers and be like, hey, I need 70% writer's credit. And so, you know, and then you just feel like crap. Once a narrative is out about you, it's really hard. You have to, like, have a really strong mindset and be like, okay, this is not me. Like, who am I? You have to look at yourself and be like, okay, who am I? Like, can I write? Yes, I can. All right, cool. So let's start from there. And that's really what Black Bouquet has allowed me to do. Just, like, find myself and find my confidence in writing. I'm not going to sit here and attest, like, oh, yes, I am the best writer of life, like, you know, but I can tell my story, and nobody can take that away from me. And I think that's, like, the most important thing, is that it's my story and I can tell it, you know? Yeah.
It's very important. With this EP, do you think that you're proving something to yourself, to the people, the naysayers?
Most definitely, I've already proved something to myself. It's definitely just helped me believe that, like, I can do more than I think that I can. And I think that's so important. Like, I mean, in Toronto, I'm not gonna lie to you, yes, I get overlooked on many occasions, and that might be because of myself, that might be because of Rooks, that might be because of my affiliation with Rooks. But, you know, I think if I keep myself, like, and the fact that I love music at the forefront, I won't go crazy. Like, I mean, that's it. Like once I love to do it, and I feel like, you know, I'm always progressing, which for the past 4 years, I'm like, sometimes when you're in it, you're like, man, things aren't moving for me.
Right.
But when you look at things in retrospect and you're like, wow, 4 years later, like I have an EP that I've written myself, I've collaborated, I've done like a number of shows. Like performance wise, I never would have thought I'd be performing as much as I am now. And you know, when you look back and you're like, wow, this is progression. And I can't be upset about that.
You talked a little bit about being in a rough space when people are overlooking you, and perhaps blogs are not writing about, you know, the song that you just dropped, or the fact that you're performing so much. So where were you when you say a rough space?
I mean, I feel like as an artist, and I feel like it's like, I don't know, for any, I don't know, I'm just gonna assume that for any artist, like when you put your time, your effort, your heart, your soul into your music, you drop it, and then, you know, a few people are like, yeah, it's cool, you know, and then you're just like, all right, cool. You can't help but think like, where am I going wrong? Like, like, what am I doing wrong? Or, you know, why am I not getting particular kinds of looks? Like, why can't a Toronto blog that really isn't like extremely out there, like why won't they post, you know, this song? Even if I reach out to them, I'm like, hey, here's this new record, like
it's all like wrapped for them. Here's the
everything is packaged, just copy and paste, put it on your blog, like, you know what I'm saying? But why no love? And you know, like I said, that could be from, I don't know, a number of reasons. Like, you know, throughout working with Sandbox and working with Rooks, I've heard a lot of people say, hey, like, I'm cool with you, but I'm not cool with Rooks. And vice versa. People have told her, like, you know, I'm cool with you, but I don't really support Leila, or I really don't like your music, or I don't know, I just feel like you support her because, you know, you guys are together or whatever. And so, yeah, I don't know, you can't help but feel like, okay, like, where am I going wrong? What am I doing? And I just try to, like, that rough space for me was just, like, a place of really second-guessing myself and second-guessing the music that I was putting out. Like, is it good? Like, you know, like, I don't know, is it good? And then you get into a headspace of comparing. And you start comparing yourself, like, okay, this person's on this blog. Is my music as good as their music? And sometimes when you're like, my music is as good as this person's music, like, why they're hating, like, you know, you can't help but feel like that's where, you know, you feel like you're getting hate. But you also have to remind yourself that people are entitled to their own opinions. I think trying to, as artists, like, we have to try to keep ourselves motivated by saying, you know, we're just gonna continue, or at least myself, I'm gonna continue to put out music that, to me, I love off the bat. If I love it, I've already won. And then number two, that, like, how do I get my song to be, like, undeniable? Like, you know, like that somebody can't deny, like, this is a good song. Like, even if you want to be a hater, you're like, damn, like, this is a good song, you know? And that's all I'm trying to, like, you know, go for. I don't know. I could be like, I don't really need, like, the whole entire, like, I don't know, clique of people to, like, be supporting me. But if people feel the music, I think I'll be okay. Honestly, I know that I'm good. I know that, I know my potential. And I know that it exceeds, like, anything that I've even seen in Toronto. I just need to, I know that I need to, like, cultivate that more. And I think that's something, just being honest, like, that's something that I'm still working at. But I feel like more and more, I definitely know that I'm good. I know that I deserve to be, like, in the top anything in Toronto R&B music scene, you know? I just feel like I need to, like, walk into that more.
Right.
Yeah.